Is vaping the...
It's all we got left.
That's all you got left?
Yeah. That's it. That's all we got. Mm-hmm.
Even quit smoking cigarettes.
Really?
Yeah. It's been like 2 years since I quit smoking cigarettes, too.
So you guys are sisters. Valeen on the left, who's been here before. Amanda in the middle.
Yep.
And Tiffany on the right. How far apart in age are you guys? You guys all look about the same age.
So I'm 38.
Yeah, I'm 35.
And I'm 33.
Okay, so you are close.
Yeah, so we're all like, 2 years apart, basically.
Yeah. And you grew up in?
New Jersey.
In New Jersey.
Yes, and we have always been very close with each other. In high school, me and her were 2 years apart, so we had a lot of the same friends. Tiffany was 5 years younger than me, so she would tag along with all my friends.
I take care of them.
Yeah.
And we grew up in like a small little town, like country town.
And drugs became your thing at what age, roughly?
So later for me, I
started young.
Yeah.
Because I grew up with them and all their friends, so then the smoking weed looked fun, so I started smoking weed at a young age, and then the little bit of pills, like here and there, just testing the waters, and then I started at 14. Was when I I need to do this every day, all day long.
Yeah. And I didn't start getting loaded until I was 18, like after high school. But I would drink in high school, but drugs were never an issue. I actually watched both of them do drugs, and I said ew, I will never be like either one of them. And then once I graduated high school, I met him, the love of my life, and I started to get high. And I worked in a pharmacy, so that was super convenient.
Oh, I bet it was.
Yeah, so that became my get down. When I was 18, I was stealing from the pharmacy.
Stealing pills?
Yeah, stealing pills, selling them, getting anything. I had access to everything that I...
Is that easy to do when you work in a pharmacist's office?
I mean, I was a very trustworthy person, and I did all the inventory. So I was just able to just take whatever I wanted.
There's no way to even get caught.
Yeah, until eventually I did.
How'd you get caught?
I got caught because I was filling scripts for friends too. So they would come with a fake script, and then I would fill it for them, and they would give me half of it. And one of the girls got arrested and got caught, and they ended up calling the pharmacy saying that I was stealing pills and to watch out for me. So they set up a secret camera and caught me, but they really... Yeah, I don't know. One day I just went into work, and the managers were by the time clock, and I got fired. I didn't walk out of there in handcuffs, and that was when I was 22 years old, mind you. So this went on for years, and then when I got fired, that's the first day I did heroin, because I was like, how am I going to get high today? And pills are just so expensive. So that's when I started to do heroin. And at this point, they already did heroin.
Were drugs a big deal amongst all your peers, all your friends?
Yeah, well,
Yes.
we were part of the opioid epidemic of the suburban kids, so everyone was on Percocets.
Yeah.
Everybody was
the
filling
Oxycontin.
prescriptions. That's back when you could get the pads, and then you could write out fake prescriptions and then go get them. Somebody always knew somebody, so you get them all filled all the time. Also, the pill mills in Florida, so people were going down there and bringing pills back.
Yeah.
Everybody I knew in our small town, everybody was doing Perc 30s, Oxycontin 80s.
That's when they were the Oxycontin.
Yeah,
And
the
then
OG.
they took them. Yeah.
Took them away, so what do you do?
Yeah. And heroin's cheaper.
Heroin.
That's what everybody started doing heroin after they took the pills away. But it's weird because we've been to an ungodly amount of funerals, probably upward, I want to say 30 funerals, and at home in this small town in New Jersey. A lot of people pass away.
Mostly from ODs?
Yeah, mostly overdoses, a few suicides, and then car accidents from, being messed up and driving. You're falling asleep at the wheel, but for the most part, overdoses. Most part overdoses for sure. So it was very, it's weird to think about. As a 38-year-old, who like in recovery and doing well, and at the time it was just normal. Like it just
so
kept
normal.
happening. Like it was just a new phone call constantly, and you just kind of went with it, and you're like, this is just what happens, you know. And how sad is that to think back? We were just kids, like early 20s.
Soft White Underbelly is about giving people a space to tell their stories, even when these stories challenge what we think we know. Ground News shows us different perspectives in the media, which is why Ground News is a perfect sponsor for my channel. In a world where algorithms censor much of the information we receive, some of the most important stories get missed from our news feeds. Ground News highlights local news from around the world, giving you an on-the-ground perspective that national coverage might miss. The app and website empowers you to form your own opinions by presenting you with every article published on any news story worldwide. My favorite part of the app is the data it gives you on each news source as you read it, such as where it leans on the political spectrum, a factuality rating indicating how subjective their printed reporting tends to be, and who funds it. I particularly like their blind spot feed, dedicated to showing you news stories that are underrepresented in the mainstream media. You can check this all out by scanning the QR code on screen or clicking the link below. It's easy to forget how much bias can shape the reality we live in. And in a world where our attention is constantly being fought over, my Vantage Plan easily helps me keep up with more important stories slipping through the cracks. So I encourage you to check them out at ground.news/SWU. Subscribe through my link or download the mobile app and enter promo code SWU to save 40% off their Vantage Plan. And by subscribing or even gifting it to someone you know, you're helping hold the media accountable and helping my channel directly. Thank you for watching.
But we didn't get high together for a while.
Yeah, it took a little. Amanda was
Closet.
I was the closet.
she was better than us because she
Well-
was taking.
Only because listen, I was like popular, played sports, graduated top of my class. Like I didn't expect it was going to be me. Like I didn't think I was ever going to end up in that situation. So I would hide it from them that I was getting high.
And then we just came to the conclusion, like, you want to go together.
The secrecy is just such a huge part of
Yeah.
drug addiction.
Yeah, because that wasn't who I was supposed to be. And I was just known, like, from everybody in the family and our parents, like, the good child.
Yeah.
It was, like, a lot of pressure.
Even my daughter.
It was a lot of pressure.
Even my daughter said, "Okay, I could see everybody. I just can't believe Aunt Amanda." You know, like it just shocked the hell out of everybody. That
How did your parents deal with all of this?
I mean, so I was able to hide it for so long because, like, they were always so busy with, like, them knowing, like, oh, what did Tiffany do? What did Valeen do? So when I actually told them that, like, I needed to probably go get some help, and they were completely shocked. They, like, were just like, what?
not Amanda.
They had, like, no idea. Yeah, so...
Not true.
I mean, I always struggled mentally really bad on top of addiction issues. So I was very, if I had to like give you a picture, I was just like me walking around screaming all the time. There's always something going on. I'm always have some sort of like existential crisis. And then if I was sick, forget it, you know, like I was going to let everybody know. Everybody knew that like I was not doing so well all the time. And when I was doing well, everybody knew it because I was like pretty normal. But for the most part, I was just a very unwell person all around.
Your drugs were all opiates?
Yeah.
All three?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did every drug.
Tip
She
off
liked
crack.
to smoke crack.
Yeah, I went full crackhead. I went full meth head, full heroin. I liked shooting coke. They'd never take me to go to this little set so I can get coke. But then I always did heroin. Like I always went back to it. Like that was always the drug I ended with. Like if I did a bunch of crack, I always had a little bit of heroin to come down, you know? But yeah, I liked everything.
Yeah.
I went many paths.
Is there addiction in your families? In your
Yes.
family?
Yes.
Both sides.
Yeah.
Both sides.
Yeah.
So that kind of explains why you guys picked this up, perhaps.
Yeah.
I do
grew
believe
up
it's
normal.
like genetic, you know? And also, but though I looked at like my family members and I'm like, that's not what I want to do. Like, that's crazy. Because it's like, we have a lot of like bottom of the barrel, like drug addicts, you know, and alcoholics in our family. And it's a good representation of like, hey, this is not it for me. You couldn't have paid me to believe that I was going to wind up turning out just like them. And it would have been so much worse if my parents would have kicked us out of the house. they just refused to. I mean, I could have easily
So you're living with your parents while you guys are doing all this?
Yes.
Yeah.
In and out. I moved out a lot. I left quite a few times because I had, boyfriend, I had daughter. There's times where I was like normal, and then I went to Florida for a while.
I went to Florida.
Yeah, she came to
with
Florida
her.
with me.
And I'm in El Paso at this
Oh
time.
yeah, she
too.
went to Texas.
Yeah.
So we kind of just all left
Yeah.
and then wind up like coming back together like at the very end.
Because we're in and out of low bottom detoxes, and because we don't come from money, and we didn't have health insurance, so we would just go to these treatment centers really quick because a consequence would happen. So meaning we would get arrested one more time. So let's just go to detox to make
I love
everybody
rehab.
happy for a
did
second.
too.
And rehab worked for all of you?
I went to a lot of rehabs.
You went to a lot of
Just
rehabs.
the
Yeah.
last one.
I went
lot.
to 3 rehabs.
Worked for me.
And the last one
Yeah.
stuck.
How many
and
times have you been?
7.
7.
This last one was the 7th.
Is there a trick to making rehab successful? Or you just have to be ready?
Well, first, I know you just to go to rehab, you have to want it. You have to actually want the help to get sober, do that whole
Were you
spiel.
kind of forced to go because
Every other time there was a consequence. I was going because my mom and dad are screaming at me. I got arrested. I just had someone to get someone off my back. I'm like, all right, I'll go to rehab. But then this last time, I called Belle and was like, hey, I need help. And then
And how many years ago was that?
that was 7 years ago. I went to rehab in Texas. And I wanted it this time. Even after the whole went to California one, I was there and just whatever. But this last time I was like, oh, okay, I don't want to live like this anymore. Or I sat there how did I even get here? After
Yeah.
not doing it for years, I was just like, how did I get here? And then that's when I was like, hey, I need help.
and the stints were roughly how long for each of you?
A
30
month.
days.
Yeah, 30 days.
No, I mean of doing drugs.
Jesus.
I mean, for this last time so I got sober on September 10th, 2014, and I've been sober since then. And before that, I was getting high every single day for probably 3 years.
No, it was longer than that.
I mean, it was. I went to rehab when I was 20. I mean, that was 25. I was 25 years old, almost 11 years ago, and I was 22 when I got fired from the pharmacy. So
Oh.
yeah, so 3 years straight, I was doing heroin every single day.
5 years because Amanda wasn't.
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, I guess I did drugs pretty
Yeah.
consistently until I was 27. So from the age of 16 to 27, I was pretty much just doing drugs. And I would go to rehabs all the time, a state-funded facility. Sign me up. I loved going to rehab. I always knew I needed help. Then it wasn't until, when we went on the Dr. Phil show, that's the first treatment center that I actually stayed sober for a long term afterwards. And then I did relapse again. And I went back to that same treatment center again. And it was that whole mentality of how did I do this again? In hindsight, when I think about it, I didn't really work on my mental health. My first year off drugs this last time, so this is about 4 years ago, I think, right? 4 years ago, I went on that meth bender. That first year was miserable. It was absolutely miserable. I was having panic attacks. I was I was unwell, but I know I can't keep doing drugs anymore. I don't know what else to do. So I just did therapy and counseling and went to the gym and I journaled and I meditated. I did whatever the hell that I was supposed to do, but just absolutely miserable.
What is the key to getting clean?
Well, I think that's so the rehab thing, that separates you from the drink and the drug, right? And then ultimately why it doesn't always work for everybody, because you actually have to put in the work to work on all the trauma and
What's behind the drug use?
yes. So that's
Yeah.
a lot of the times people just think that they need to let me just do this real quick. But it took, after rehab, I actually had to look at myself and realize oh my gosh, there's a lot of other stuff to deal with. And
And all the rehabs you guys went to had therapy as part of the program?
Yeah, but I just think that we just weren't ready yet.
But a lot of them, the state-funded facilities, it's not really like it's not therapy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, groups, and it's not very organized, and it's just like pumping
it's like
people in and out.
cockroaches on the floor. It's
Sometimes.
nasty.
Yeah, sometimes
it just
it is,
wasn't it like what we,
But yeah, I think that a lot of them weren't like therapy based.
Yeah.
More like war stories. You'd go in there and you're with a bunch of addicts and you're in a room and then this person's trying to keep you all tamed and you're just like, oh, remember I did this and this, and then there's another person in there one-upping you and you're just like,
Chain
And then you
smoking
meet-
cigarettes.
and you learn
and you meet people.
Yeah, you learn.
And you go get
Yeah.
high with them when we got out of treatment.
Going to rehab and leaving, I learned more tricks on how to do drugs better, and I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
When you look back at that time, when you were using, how do you see yourselves? I mean, what thoughts go through your head?
It was a whole different person. It's really crazy to even think about.
It's almost like you're possessed, no?
Yeah.
Yes, I literally describe it that way. It doesn't make any sense. Like I did it for so long, and now I feel like so normal. And I'll think about doing normal things, like, filling my gas tank, or like just hanging out with my family and just like laughing and stuff.
What were some of the darkest things you would do under the influence?
Oh my God. Well, none of us had a license. We all had warrants out for our arrest.
The darkest is we would literally go drive to Camden every single day, morning and night. I would walk down a dark alleyway just expecting to meet this guy that was going to hand me a bunch of drugs under his ball sack, and I was going to hand him some money and just expect to walk out of there and be okay. Yeah, and like Camden, I have friends that have been, beaten and raped and everything out there, and I mean, we were just very lucky that didn't happen to us.
You're lucky fentanyl wasn't around then.
That too.
Yeah, exactly. And we would go there twice like a day, and they would call us like we were just the snow bunnies out there. And we made friends with all of them. Like, that's what I'm saying. Now looking at us, it's just crazy because we had no fear. We would do whatever we needed to do to get high. Nothing mattered.
We stole. I mean, I stole all the time.
Yeah, I stole.
All sorts of
From
shit.
your families or from other?
Everybody.
Anybody
who had anything around. I didn't go for stupid stuff like, I say stupid stuff, like TVs or, I wasn't into that. But gold and
all
money.
Your jewelry and money.
Jewelry and money. And anything that I could sell for cash. And I can't now. I couldn't even, pick up a dollar without saying
When
shit.
you were doing that, stealing, let's say, from your family, did you realize how fucked up that was?
Yeah.
Or do you just kind of like, it's all going to be okay?
No,
you
I
know.
remember stealing from my mom, and my mom called me at work. I was a waitress at Outback Steakhouse, and my mom called me, and she, on like the work phone, and she's like, I know you did all this. And I just remember like my heart dropping to my stomach. And it was like, okay, 1, I'm caught. 2, I don't have this jewelry anymore because I sold it all. 3, am I going to get arrested? And then like, I just couldn't, and I still think about some of the stuff I took from my mom. I can never replace. I could never replace it.
But like when you're sick and you need drugs, like we would do whatever we had to do.
I would do anything.
Yeah.
I would put myself in the dumbest situations with the dumbest people to continue to get high. And that's like with the no license and the warrants. Like we were driving around all the time, just like whatever, I don't know. And I was going to go to jail for a few months if I got pulled over.
I did.
She did go to jail. We had the same
went to
warrant
jail
out.
for 3 months.
It was terrible.
Who is the worst of the three of you?
I want to say Tiffany, but I know you guys are looking at me.
Yeah, Valeen was the worst with heroin.
Yeah.
I just took it too far with everything.
You were just dumb.
Yeah, I was very impulsive. I would just go, figure it out. And then sometimes it wasn't worth it. A lot of times I got arrested. I did a lot of weird things. I was probably the worst off just in the different areas.
Well, you also did everything. Like, I was, like, strictly just, like, a heroin addict for the longest time. Like, yes, I did have my go with meth for a little bit there, and that was super. I couldn't understand how I even did that because heroin was my thing. But this one would smoke crack and go on adventures. And like, I don't, crackheads, they go on like full blown adventures and they don't come back for days. And I would go sometimes with her occasionally. I don't even know why I'd be with you and go on these like crack adventures with you. And I would wind
if
up.
I ever had crack around them, I'm like, you want to smoke some crack with me?
The weirdest
It made me feel
situations. The weirdest people. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, crackheads are a different breed of humans, honestly.
Yeah, I couldn't out hustle crackhead Tiff. Like sometimes I try to like get that inner crackhead out, and I'm just like, oh my God, I can't. Like it's exhausting, you know?
It's a rat race. That's the thing. Is like you're just doing drugs. You just get stuck in this cycle, and you're just like nonstop. That's all you do is you do drugs, and you make money, and then you just.
And now we can laugh about. We have a lot of crazy times like that we did, but now we can laugh about it. But during it, it was dark.
Yeah. It was not funny at all.
Yeah, it was very dark. Not funny. But now that we're on the other side, things are kind of funny.
You've all been clean roughly how many years?
So I've been clean for almost 11 years.
I've been clean off heroin for 7 years.
And you haven't drank for 8 months.
And I haven't drank for 8 months.
And then I haven't done hard drugs in 4 years at all. And then I quit drinking like 8 months ago too. But I didn't really drink like that, so that's why it's kind of weird. I don't enjoy drinking. I'm a raging drug addict, but drinking's never been my thing.
And is life better now?
Yeah. And a lot of the reason I quit drinking was because I wanted her to quit drinking. And that's a lot of the reason. And secondly, it got in the way of my gym schedule. When you drink, you feel like shit the next day.
The next morning is rough.
Yeah, and it's not a good time. And, you get anxious. For me, it's been a long journey of like trying to figure out what works for me. I could drink once a month and I wouldn't go on a raging bender. But I had to come to the conclusion I'm just better off without it. I'm not one of those people that I just like got sober, boom, it worked for me and I just like stayed sober. I had a really hard time like staying completely sober. I just wanted to fight it tooth and nail. The more you told me that you have to sit in this box, I clawed my way out more and more. I don't know why I'm like this, but I finally have, I'm sober. I'm happy. I found what works for me. And I don't drink anymore because it's just not good for you.
Do any of you guys have kids?
Yes. I have 2 kids, 16-year-old and an 8-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
So they were around for some of this?
Yeah, they both were, unfortunately. That's probably my biggest regret. And with my little one, I swore I would never do it again. And that it was hard. And I'm really lucky that I have a great relationship with both of my daughters because my oldest lives in New Jersey. She doesn't live with me. But she's seen the worst of it. Her dad sheltered her from it, thank God, and he kept her away from me. At the time, I was really pissed, but in hindsight, I'm happy he did. I was very unwell. I was not in any position to even try to act like I was, a great mother. And then my little one, when I went on that meth bender, I had her. And, for the most part, I just did a lot of gardening and painted a lot. And so it wasn't like, like I was like talking to myself in the corner or anything, thank God. But, she was 4 at the time. And it's hard to think about because, like, I just wish both my kids would have gotten like this mom.
Yeah, but now you still can. I have 2 kids. I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. So neither one of them have never seen me loaded. And my husband is sober as well. So
I have 3 dogs, and my eldest dog snitched on me, and that was the last time I shot heroin, was that day.
How did your dog snitch on you?
So like I had this carry-on that I had fresh needles in a bag, and like in the front it was zipper, and I remember before I left the house like, oh, I should zipper that because I had a puppy. And then I didn't, and I went to work, and I'm like falling asleep everywhere. And then I'm leaving work, and she's walking into my work, and I'm like, what are you doing here? And she's like, hey, Dexter actually put all the needles all around your house, so your roommate's kicking you out and you're going back to sober living.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, so
And he drug them all over the house too.
How important a part of this whole process is hitting rock bottom?
I think it's very important, but I think everybody's rock bottom is different.
Sure.
You know,
But it takes what it takes for everybody. Yeah. And I just think that, yeah, we had to go through all of that to actually want to change.
well, not only that, like I've hit rock bottom many times, and it was
It keeps getting worse.
Yeah, it's just like what you can take, you know.
And now that you're well past your stint with drugs, is there any temptation, any urge to go back?
Not hard drugs. Like I still smoke weed, so that's kind of like my little vice my little crutch that I use. So I mean, everything else, it's not even a thought. Like if something really crazy happens and I'm like overstimulated, freaking out, I never think like, oh, I should go do some heroin or smoke some crack, or like that's not the thought in my head anymore. Which is weird. It was weird at first too, because it's like, when did that light switch go on where it's like it's just not even a thing anymore? I don't know when it did, but I'm very grateful that it did. Like it was like a grow up. I'm like, all right, this isn't the solution anymore. So I don't know exactly when mine happened. I just remember it just wasn't a thing anymore.
Yeah. I mean, of course, you're always going to think about it, but it's just like a fleeting thought, like you said. And I mean, I work a 12-step program, so I go to a lot of meetings and help a lot of people. So I feel like that also helps me to stay sober and to not, want to go back to where it was.
I don't think about doing drugs at all. But I mean, when I went on that bender 4 years ago, I really didn't too much either. But I don't really. I'm at this point now where it's like I don't want to be around people who do drugs at all, which is like a totally new mindset. I have zero desire to, I'm a phone call away, but I don't want to see anybody. And I think that's like a big part. It is true, like separating yourself from, what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, getting away from the crowd.
Yes. And that's one thing I never really did before. Like I just kind of always welcomed my friends back in. Then it's just no. I'm just so good. I have zero time for any of it. It's crazy to me to think about before. That's how I was so inviting to have.
Were 12-step programs a thing for all three of you or for some of you?
I've done them, yeah. I'm not currently anymore.
Were they helpful?
Oh yeah, it's just the looking inward part,
I think that one step where you're totally honest with everybody in your life.
Yeah,
that's gotta be.
It's the game changer, and you go into it as a victim, and then you start reading. You're like, oh my god, I literally played the biggest part in this.
Yeah,
that was for me, the looking inward and just being like, oh, my side of the street is dirty and disgusting, and I'm, you just start to clean it, And that was cool for me. I don't work a full 12-step program, but I still take things that I've learned in it and use it in my life today. You know what I mean? Even though I'm still Cali sober, it's still I'm very grateful for it. It helps me every day.
Without that radical honesty, do you think you would be fully recovered?
No.
You almost need to come clean about everything.
A lot of it I was taking to the grave. Yeah. For real. And then you're like, I'm about to tell this lady who, all of my secrets, and you got to trust that they're not going to say anything. And then, me and God, but when you say it out loud too, you're like, oh.
Well, I mean, the program makes you say it to the people you did it to, right?
That
too. Yeah, you get to
that's powerful.
Make it right.
And I had beef with the 12-step program for a little bit. I was actually resentful at the 12-step program, and it's because I told people my secrets, and then it was used against me. Mm-hmm. So it can go, and now at this point, I've worked through it in therapy.
Some of the people's secrets are so fucked up.
Yes.
That it's how could it not go against you?
Yeah, and that's, and whatever, it happened, the whole situation happened, and I've moved past it, and I worked through it in therapy, but it put a really bad taste in my mouth. And, like I have a lot of respect for AA, and I don't ever tell people not to do AA. And like clearly it helps people that I love very dearly, and not just like my family, but like a lot of my friends, So I hang out with a lot of people like who are in AA. I just like, I had to really work through that because like AA helps so many people, but it's just not for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's not like the only way, to get better.
I don't know if we're going to get 3 answers here, but what would you say is like the most important thing you guys have learned from all of this?
I mean,
Mine's loving myself, loving who I am, and trying to be authentic to me. Because without that, That's why I did drugs. Like when I first did drugs, I remember I was like, "Oh, this is like what I needed to be in my body, feel like part of something." And then when you took that away from me, it was like, "Oh my God, I still hate myself. I'm still." Like I'm so insecure, and all those characteristics come out, and you're just like, all right, first off, try to love yourself. And now that I love myself, like it's just, I don't feel the need to hang out with someone or be with someone all the time, and like I'm content by myself. So I found that like just finding love within and liking who you are authentically is the first thing that you should work on, because that's who you're with all day long.
Yeah.
Literally.
I feel like I've learned a lot to not be so, judgmental, honestly, because I was all these people that I see, that homeless person that's like, on drugs, like that could have been me. I feel like I've just learned, and it still could be technically, I have the choice to do that. I just feel like just learned a lot about the real world, that this is reality. It could happen to anybody. And I never thought that it would happen to all 3 of us.
No.
So to just really put myself in other people's shoes and,
I ran on shame, and I think that it's the greatest thing I learned is how to have shame resilience. Everything that I ever did was, based off of shame and guilt about everything I've done in the past, the way I treated my parents, the way I treated my sisters, the way that, I treated my daughter. The list just keeps on going, and all the things that I did, and that's just like how I fueled myself. So even if I got kind of better, it was like all these things in my head, and it was just like wouldn't go away, and then I'm like, I'm just such a piece of shit, like how, and I just ran on that. And I think that learning how to work through your trauma and the shame, and like let it go and address it where it needs to be addressed, it's been like the greatest lesson I learned, to stop the thoughts and try to like rebuttal it with something like positive instead of just dogging myself all the time.
And we own it now. We know what we did, and we own it. And hopefully it could help somebody else to see where we're at now.
With all 3 of us, we tormented my parents. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're still together, which is crazy. They, what do you do when you have 3 daughters shooting heroin in your house? And I think that the main thing is everybody's like, kick them out of the house. Like, and it's just nobody knows what you'll do until you're in the position where you love a drug addict, and especially when you're children. And then you got 3 of them.
Do you feel like your parents handled it well?
The best that they
Yeah.
could.
Yeah, the best they could.
The best they could.
There's no rule book for this. To deal with this, I feel like they handled it the best that they could. It was chaos. There was a lot of fights and drama constantly, but I think that
when they know you're stealing from them, that's
Yes.
gotta,
Yes.
Well, at the
stealing.
sight of us, they would be pissed off.
Yeah.
Literally. They
Just
come home and be just pissed.
Yeah.
Well, that's, I just come home and I have like, I always fell asleep in the chair, and I would always have like cigarette burns like on my neck from falling asleep with the cigarette in my hand.
We had track marks
Yes.
everywhere
And,
on us.
And
We didn't shower for weeks sometimes. So it was just, they dealt with it the best that they could.
there was a lot of arguments in the house, and we all argued a lot too. So it was just like nonstop, just pure chaos. And then also like the people that we were around, which at the end of us all using together. There was not a lot of people around. It was just mostly the three
Just
of us.
the three of us.
But the people who did come around were like the sketchiest people ever. And my dad's like, get the hell away from my house. Like, you're not allowed here. And my dad is the nicest guy in the world, like the nicest, calmest guy in the world. And we pushed him over the edge. Like oh my God, he took all the doorknobs out of the house.
Yeah, so we couldn't
Shouldn't
shut
close
the door.
any
He could
doors.
come in any door when he wanted. You were in the
Yeah,
bathroom
we were
too
in the
long.
bathroom.
He, boom,
Yes,
barged in.
anytime we went to the bathroom, it was like counting minutes how long we were in there.
Checks our trash. You know, yeah, he just.
They had to like
He was-
hide their
he would
wallets,
sneak
hide
attack us,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
We drove them crazy. We
Yeah.
really did. And, you know, and that's another one of my, like, it makes me feel terrible, you know, because they're good parents and they just loved us so much that they hated seeing us like that. And it just,
It's got to be tough for them.
yeah. And, you know, honestly, my family, we're like this. We're super close. We talk all the time. We spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
but the difference, like we talk about this kind of stuff, you know. Like we're good now, but we'll bring it up, and we're like, oh my God, you remember when?
Yeah. My
Yeah.
parents don't like to think about actually a lot of it.
No. I
And-
talk to my mom more about it
Yeah.
than dad, for sure.
But like again, we do it like we say a lot of jokes now because looking like we're on the other side, it's like kind of like funny, but in it, you know, it just wasn't
so bad.
funny. But now, yeah, we make a lot of jokes and
We think too.
Very
like,
open about it.
It was just the five of us in the house, so everyone outside of the house, like all the family, we kind of kept it a little more hush hush. Like
Yeah.
people knew, like maybe they're not doing too hot, but no, like we.
it wasn't
never-
talked about
Yeah.
to anybody else. Yeah.
And I think that's common with a lot of families who struggle with children and addiction, or even their parents. You just want to make it seem as normal as possible for them, even though you're screaming at them and, like, you know, begging them to get help or yelling at them, whatever it looks like. But then, you know, if Joe over here said something, you kind of want to shield, like, you know, it's not as bad as it looks, you know, and I think that's pretty common.
Yeah.
All right. Amanda, Tiffany, and Valeen, thank you so much for sharing your stories.
Thanks for having us.
I'm glad you guys are doing better now.
Thank
yeah,
you.
me too.
Me
Stay on
too.
track.
Yeah, let me hit my vape again. One more time.
Where's my crack pipe?
When I was designing the first Soft White Underbelly book, I realized that there were so many great portraits that weren't going to make it into that book. They just wouldn't fit. And once I saw how well that first book sold, I knew I'd have to design a second book. This second book is finally ready to ship. Like the first one, this book has a collection of some of the best portraits from Soft White Underbelly, accompanied by a quote from that person's interview. This book features another group of Rebecca portraits, as well as a collection of color images of the Whitaker family, and plenty of others. You can order yours for $125 or $150 for a signed copy at softwhiteunderbelly.org. Again, like the first book, once this book is sold out, I will not be printing more of them. The portraits are what Soft White Underbelly is all about, and these two books contain the best of all that work. Thank you for watching.